Do you know what the average pension is, actually? Just to be clear, if you work in public services, the average pension is about $7,000 a year. That's not, you're not rocking and rolling on that. You know what I mean? You're certainly not turning up here on that kind of, So I just think we need to be a bit careful about some of the general statements that we're making. It's quite a sophisticated picture.
All right, let's have a minute on solutions if we think they're needed, or you can say they're not needed. Diane, for you first.
We need a fairer society. We certainly need a measure of redistribution. And what we certainly shouldn't be doing is framing what is essentially a problem about politics and class politics as some dispute between the old and the young. And just finally, I have an old person's bus pass, and you will take it from my cold, dead hand.
Very good. Let's go across this way this time, and then we will come to the audience. Just 1 minute, Victor, on what you would, the young are owed a future. How do you give it to them?
Well, they're owed a voice. We should listen to them. The thing that you can't have a shortcut to is experience. And when I talk to young people, I offer them silence and hope and some experience, basically, because they're going to be running the place. Secondly, we owe them a more sophisticated argument. One of the worst things that a politician ever said to me was that basically the public, the people, want things simplified, and I said no. They want you to introduce complexity. That's what they want. So we need a more sophisticated debate than just young versus old. That's not going to work. And thirdly, we need to protect those things that the young people need in order that they can grow old with wisdom. Free education, I think, is absolutely necessary. I think we should listen to them about the kind of education they need. I know people that are going to be doing 14 exams in 2 weeks, and then we wonder about the increase in mental health. But actually, if we talk to the young people, they tell you that they want to learn, they can learn, and how they need to learn in order that they can provide a future for us all.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
Anatole.
Well, I agree completely with Victor that this should not be a battle, but it should be a debate, a conversation, and an attempt to compromise between the interests of the workers and the interests of the rentiers, if you like, through society. The mechanism that we have all grown up to believe in for that debate is democracy. The problem is that the aging of society is actually distorting really radically that mechanism of democracy in exactly the way, Victor, that you described. What we are finding is that more and more rapidly older people are voting against redistribution of income. They're voting for the preservation of their wealth, and both in the private sector and in the.
So what do you do about it?
And in the role that they have in society and so on. So what do you do about it? And that is going to increase. That's going to accelerate. Societies are becoming more conservative. Certainly, British society is becoming more conservative.
And are you so Marxist, Anatole, that you just say that these historical forces are going to keep going?
No, yeah, exactly. So frankly, I think that there's one of three things that might happen. One is the old people may decide that they have a duty to society and not just to themselves, and may change their voting patterns.
Yep.
That looks increasingly unlikely. The second thing is that democracy may have to be restructured in order to reduce the role of people over 65 who are outside, or increase the role of the young. Now, one way to do that, which would be very, very logical, would be to give children a vote, not by lowering the voting age to 12 or 10 or something, but to give parents votes for their children. This is something that has been seriously discussed. Yeah, so anybody who has 3 children has 4 votes instead of 1 vote, or divided between the parents. That's interesting, and that's logically, if you think about it, democracy, people laughed, you've all laughed today. 200 years ago, people would laugh the same way if I said give votes to women. Or give votes to yes, they will. And the third thing is that democracy itself may fail, and we may find that the democratic societies, which are increasingly dominated by the very short-term selfish interests of the old, are overwhelmed by non-democratic societies, such as China, such as perhaps Russia, by authoritarian societies, where you have political structures that are willing and crucially able to think about the long-term future of their society rather than just the interests of individuals who have 5-10 years to live.